All right, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and the new Union goalkeeping community. We're going to have OL Reign goalkeeper Phallon Tullis-Joyce on in about 10 minutes or so. Right now, share this out with the goalkeeping community, guys. It's going to be a good one. Excited for you guys to join it. It's going to be fun. Any questions or comments, put them in the comment section. I'm just going to be setting this up right now. See you guys in a few minutes. Hey, Stan Anderson, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Again, guys, we're going to be joined by Phallon Tullis-Joyce from OL Reign. She had a sizzling, stellar game this weekend against Angel City FC. Shout out to all you guys watching on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live, and obviously on the Union goalkeeping community free app that you guys can get on every app store. We'll be starting in about 10 minutes or so. So questions or comments, guys? Oh my gosh, Stan, we're going to have to put that up once the podcast starts. We're going to have to put that up once the podcast starts. I'm going to share that once the podcast starts. That is absolutely phenomenal news. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about that. Again, guys, we're going to be talking about following through and keeping momentum going in the final action. It's going to be a good one. Questions or comments, guys, regarding following through, keeping momentum in the final action, put them in the comment section, guys. We're going to get started in a little bit here. Hey, Dusty Weber.
Hello.
No, your camera is doing amazing.
No, it's not.
It is.
I'm looking at my makeup right now. I'm like, wow.
You look great.
It's the lighting. Now I have to up the lighting.
Oh, you have to up the lighting.
Yeah, I have to up the quality of the lighting. I have a ring light.
Yeah, I have a loom. I have a loom screen that you can put again on your laptop. It's literally a light that you press against your laptop, and it illuminates you entirely. It's pretty awesome. I got it for Hanukkah.
Sweet.
I said that with the hard R, hard H.
I heard it. Well, you should know.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
very, 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 very true. Stan Anderson's got a big announcement, and I said I will save it until the podcast starts.
Yes, we also have to say happy birthday to Paul Blodgett.
Oh, happy birthday, Blodge.
Well, we're not live. Oh, are we live? We are. Happy birthday,
we are
Blodge.
live. We're live, but we'll say it on the podcast too once we actually start recording too. Gosh darn it.
It wouldn't be a day without your humming.
I know. Well, I'm not the only one that does it. Tom Wheel does it at Nottingham. So
that's true.
All right. All right. All right. Do you guys have a game this week?
We do. Irvine. On Sunday.
Sunday. Against UC Irvine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Love those spring games.
All right. Dylan, I promise you we will get to that question because that absolutely goes with our topic today. So we will definitely get to that question. Just give us a little bit of time until the show starts. But fantastic question, guys. Keep them coming in the comment section. I love people jumping in.
I didn't recognize. Do you like my games behind me? What is that? Risk, Scrabble, Monopoly.
Oh, yeah. I see those now.
Got to keep the mind working. I just realized that. I was like,
hey, all right. 90% mental, right?
That's right. I was like, oh, there are my games in the back.
Oh, my gosh. Well, if I know Phallon is coming straight from training, so she should be here in the next few minutes, right off the field. What a game she had this weekend. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know not the result the Angel City wanted, but
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can be, neutral.
Yeah. You root for the goalkeeping union, though.
That's correct. That is correct. Like, she'll come on, she'll see Angel City in the background. She'll be like,
Are you you weren't there this weekend, right?
No.
Okay. All right, let me just check in with her and just see how she's doing on ETA.
Now you have me humming.
Oh my gosh.
Did you hear me? I'm like,
I did.
Come on. So the other day, I was saying this. I told Shannon this. We were on our meeting on Zoom, and I was waiting. We were waiting, I think, for Omar, and I went like that, and I caught myself because Paisley does it all the time. She's one, and that's what she does all the time. And so I do it with her, and I caught. You guys didn't catch it because you guys were all like doing something on your own, and I totally did that, and I was cracking. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what am I doing?
Oh my gosh. Look who's here.
Hey. Hey, Phallon.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Wait, are you already back home?
Yeah, I rushed.
Oh my gosh. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only live like 12 minutes from our facilities, so it's nice.
That's the way to do it. Nice. All right. Well, we'll just hop into this here. Here we go. Welcome to Inside the 18. I'm Michael Magid, live from Hollywood, California. With me, you know her as co-owner of Angel City Football Club.
You're such an ass.
The one and only Saskia Weber. And
you
joining
can laugh
us
now, and it's all right.
And joining us is someone who recently played against the Angel City Football Club with a positive result. OL Reign goalkeeper Phallon Tullis-Joyce. I had to do that. I'm sorry.
You did. All right, you got me on that one.
Well, honestly, Phallon, I mean, what a weekend though. And shout out on player of the match. That's just really awesome. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I said I can be neutral, goalkeeper union.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So kind of before we kind of get into everything today, people are like, wait a second, player of the match. What's going on here? Is Phallon playing for Reign now? What's going on? I know a lot of people might not be familiar with the fact that last time you were on, you were at what was it? Stade de Rome was the
Stade de
club
Reims.
Stade de Reims. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Saskia's just like, stop with the accent.
Yeah, it's okay.
Don't even try it. But now you're over at OL Reign. So why don't you tell people a little bit about how that move happened and how that's going?
Yeah, so I've been at OL Reign since June, like end of June, early July, last year. And I made that move right at the end of the French season. Then I took 2 weeks with my family and then hopped right back in with the OL Reign. And then I was like second, third goalkeeper when Sarah Buhati was on the team, and as well like Ella Diederik was part of our goalkeeper squad too. And now this is my second season with the Reign, and yeah, I'm just really happy to be here. Super grateful for the coaching staff, and super excited for this season, and even just being in the Challenge Cup now.
Now, I got a question about that. Like, was that kind of like the plan all along? Is that you were going to come in and obviously, players like Ella and Sarah, phenomenal resumes, the international and the club stage. Was that kind of the plan that you would come in, kind of, be kind of in a backup position and then kind of learn from them and then kind of move into a starting position?
It was kind of, once you're in the NWSL, like any goalkeeper is fighting for their spot. So at any point, I was really just giving it every single day my best in hopes of having the starting opportunity. But as well, I was just learning from both those goalkeepers because I can learn so much from them. And I just really just kept working. And then finally I was given the opportunity to be the starter this season. That's kind of just how that worked for me. It wasn't kind of like a said thing or anything like that.
No, was it the start of the lineup that you got the nod, or did you know before?
I knew a little bit before. It was kind of just like, in like those training sessions where it's just like the starting squad like does this and then, and it's just like Phallon, go and goal. And I'm like, oh, So yeah, so it's like, those subtle little things that, day or two before.
No, that gets you stoked. I know that.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I was so excited when I saw you in the lineup, the first game of the Challenge Cup. And I was like, oh, they're like, are they trying everybody out? And then I saw you were in the next game and I was like, oh, this is like a thing now. And then all of a sudden, then I started seeing the saves and I was like, oh my gosh, she is on fire right now. So, and obviously, look, for people who aren't familiar, you had a phenomenal career in France. And, that was one of the decisions that you made was, to go overseas, and you start in the second division and then going into the first division. And a lot of young goalkeepers, aren't willing to take those type of risks. And I think it's paid out for you. So.
Yeah, and a lot of phases of my career, I've just been, the backup goalkeeper. So even at Miami, when I first came in, I redshirted my freshman year. So then I was the, second goalkeeper then going to Reims, even in D2, I was still the second goalkeeper, and that was properly explained. And then coming here, so I'm pretty familiar with being the second goalkeeper, but always grinding it out. That's just what I've been doing.
Yeah. Some people are familiar with being the second goalkeeper, and I'm talking. No, I wasn't talking about you, Saskia. I was talking about me. I was talking about me.
It's okay.
I was talking about me, not you.
It's
I was talking about you.
I'll take my second goalkeeper World Cup champion medal. It's fine. No, but but the truth is you got to get games, and a lot we're talking about a lot of young players out there that get in their mindset. I just want to come play in the NWSL. You might sit and you might, it's really imperative for goalkeepers to get games. And, we all know that you don't sub a goalkeeper. It's rarely a fluctuating position. And so in order to get those games and get seen, you got to go find it, and to go to France and find it. Look where you are now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Phallon, so the Marine stuff, you're so into that stuff, and I think a lot of people don't know about that. For those of you guys who want to, I'm just going to break the fourth wall a little bit here. I was talking to Phallon a couple days ago, and she's like, I can't do Wednesday because I'm going to be salmon saving. Is that what's going on?
Close enough. I mean, here in Tacoma, they have just such great opportunities for their elementary schools. So they have like a salmon tank, and then so I'm working with like a seaport here, like a maritime museum, and they go out with the kids and we release the salmon with them. So it's like a whole elementary school field trip that I'm helping out with.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Do you like hold the salmon and you release that, like you literally pick them up?
It's little.
Yeah, they're like they're like fry. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're like this big. Yeah, they're probably like
big
full salmon.
Yeah, like max like 3 inches long. Yeah, it's just baby salmon.
I just see Phallon like
around.
She's trying to release the thing. That'd be good goalkeeper training, though. Talk about handling the ball. If you can handle that.
Small ones too, though.
What? Weird segue?
Yeah.
Weird analogy?
Yeah, it's like that. What is it in Seattle when they throw the fish, at the...
Yeah, the fish market.
Yeah, the fish market.
Oh, yeah. The pike. Yeah, the pike.
Yeah.
Fish market.
The pike. Okay. By the way, speaking of Good Samaritans, I do want to bring this up right now here because we had a wonderful moment right here. For those of you guys who don't know, Stan Anderson from Camp Shutout, he has something called the Venmo Challenge where he was trying to raise $100,000 for local businesses in the area that have struggled during the pandemic. And I just want to put this up here. Stan Anderson, hello. With your help, we will be delivering the final gift of the $100,000 this Thursday. So shout out to Stan Anderson and everybody at the Venmo Challenge. Honestly, I'm humbled and honored that I was involved in the Venmo Challenge a little bit. I got to meet some of these small businesses myself. I toured Racine, Wisconsin. I went up there in October and helped out with an event out there. And honestly, for those of you guys that don't know, man, there's still a lot of businesses out there. We're still struggling. So every little bit counts. So if you know a little small business, support local, guys. Support local. That's my little soapbox thing for today.
Sorry about the sound in the background. It's my washer's doing something weird. No, what we were doing with UCLA was no matter where we traveled or anything like that, we always got our food from small local businesses.
Nice.
Yeah, to help support as well, and to eat a certain way, but to help support. And it really did. You have a full team coming in, no matter where we were, we'd find just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, find little businesses and everything. It's a good thing that you could do if you're going on a tournament or something, instead of going to the regular chains, just go hit up a mom and pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of people are probably tuning in right now and they're like, this is like life advice. It's not just goalkeeping advice. Life advice on here. So let's focus a little bit on goalkeeping.
One more shout out though, Paul Blodgett.
Okay,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Paul Blodgett, the legend.
The legend.
Blodge himself. Yeah. Can you give away his age on the air, Susk, or no?
I don't know his age.
Okay.
I know he's older than I am because he was my coach. So I'll leave it at that. So I'm not giving away my age. There you go.
So let's get into this today, guys. Today's topic, and this is based off Phallon's sizzling performance this weekend. It gave me the idea for this topic right here. Today's topic is following through and keeping momentum in the final action. Phallon, for maybe some parents out there who don't know what we're talking about, what do we mean by following through and keeping momentum?
Oh yeah, for me, how I would define like following through is kind of like just diving through the ball. Like when you're about to make like an extension save, like even as you're about to hit the ground, you almost like, in order to prevent any kind of injuries or like buildup of injuries, you kind of like roll out of it. And those are some of the things that they teach you like right at the beginning of when you're a goalkeeper, is how to really just push yourself, drive yourself with that nearest foot and driving your hand and attacking the ball and just continuing with that momentum. And just like, if you need to, then you can roll out of it or to kind of save yourself from those injuries.
Yeah. You see a lot of young goalkeepers, they try to fight that momentum. And whether it's even if it's something as simple as just like with footwork going to pick up a ball, you see kids, they step and they try to pull the ball back, and you want to be natural. You would just want to allow your body and go with the flow of your body, follow through with, if you catch the ball, take a couple steps in that direction and balance yourself. Don't fight it. Don't try to hold it. Same thing with diving. You don't want to try to end at the point of contact. You want to go through that point of contact with your momentum and allow your body to do its natural thing.
Yeah. You know, I'm just even thinking like with the salmon, like you want to make sure that you release
good
the
Lord.
salmon. No, it's the full momentum. That way the salmon gets to release and release off. Saskia's like, just you've got your show tonight. Don't even don't open mic it on the show. Either bring structured material or don't do it. I love the fact you brought up injury, Phallon, because I think that's something that a lot of young kids don't think about. You know, there was this discussion that was actually taking place the other day. It was actually on the Union that somebody had posted. I think it might have been even Omar that had posted it. That had Schmeichel had said like, "Oh, don't worry about teaching technique at the younger ages," you know. And then somebody brought up the fact it's like, well, the reason we teach technique is not just to be successful, but also to keep from getting hurt. You know, is that something that you kind of, when you were younger, really helped you out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, just about safety. I mean, just about every single day when I'm training, and like some parents like kind of watch my trainings back home in New York, and we train on like a really hard, like thin turf. Everyone knows that kind of turf nobody wants to play on, but like that's the training I'm on. And everybody asks like, oh, doesn't doesn't that hurt? Like how are you like not like, you know, how are your shoulders not busted? But it's just like really just following through and like using that momentum to your advantage. The second like you start like going against nature is the second like things start to, you know, go out of whack. So you just got to kind of trust that motion.
It's also hard, and it's harder to control the ball.
Yeah.
Once, you know, if you're going against that natural momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I was just even just thinking about like the rollout. Like a lot of like people see that, Phallon, and they think, oh, they're just trying to be flashy. They're trying to be flashy, but it's really you protecting your body as you hit the ground because that momentum is taking you.
Yeah, especially with those higher extension saves. That's more when you see the rollout is when you're coming from like a really high place. That's when you just want to have like the least amount of contact with the ground, like spread it out.
Saskia, why do you think it's so difficult for young goalkeepers to understand that when they make contact with the ball that they're supposed to keep going with that motion?
I think it's a natural thing that you're thinking, I got the ball, like you snatch it in a sense. It's a weird term to use, but it's like, I gotta grab it, it's mine. You know, I think that whether it's if you're coming through traffic, whatever you're doing, it's that kind of protection of, let me get the ball and get it in. And not realizing that once your hands make contact and you get the ball, it actually makes the save easier to allow the momentum to help you make the save and follow through with it and bring the ball. But I think it's, you know, it's the same thing I said is something as simple as like a low ball that you see kids can just like shuffle over and pick up. They try to hold their momentum just coming over to pick up the ball instead of just pick up the ball and walk through your momentum. And it sounds so simple, but watch, when you watch young goalkeepers out, they'll do it. They'll come up, they'll snatch, and they'll pull the ball back. You know, just allow yourself to keep going. You have the ball, you know?
There's nothing funnier to me, and Phallon, feel free to step in any time, but like when you're seeing a young goalkeeper and like a through ball and like they go keeper and then they stop. And that like once they hold on to the, instead of like going on, I'm like, you only have 6 seconds. What are you doing? You just made your job more difficult by like standing there.
But I mean, also remember, like you can, even if it's something as simple as a through ball that you're coming to pick up, go. And if there are people coming at you, go knock into them, like go through, like, you know, go through them. Because if you try to halt your momentum, if you try to halt that follow through and they hit you, you're down. You're down.
You're getting flattened.
Yeah, you're getting flattened.
You're getting rocked.
Flatten them.
Yeah.
And that's such a great point because like Phallon, even just watching, you know, the highlights of yourself, you know, over the last few years when we're talking about whether it's talking about rain is, how do I pronounce it?
Rance. It's like kind of like an N instead of an M.
Okay, Rance. Okay, either at Rance or now at OL Reign or whatever. Is one thing I love about you is that when you go in for a box, is that you're going in for a box and you're following through until you're down. So you're not making contact and then standing there and then seeing where the ball goes. You're going with the ball essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially on like going out for crosses and things like that too.
Yes.
If you're gonna like do like a dead stop, you could really injure yourself going through that way. I know for myself, like I'll even do a spin sometimes off of a cross just because I know I got some gangly legs and there's no telling where my ankles are gonna go. So like I need to spin out of it and make sure that like I'm in proper like form and shape and like keeping moving out of it to like just protect myself against these players, you know. And if I'm coming out for a cross, like I'm going, you know. I do have, you know, some players that like make the mistake of trying to go up with me and they say that it feels like it's getting hit with a pickup truck. So like that's the advantage of being a goalkeeper, is you can go up with your hands, and as long as you're using that momentum, you will be the pickup truck. You know, you don't want to be on the other end of that.
No,
yeah,
no,
I mean,
no,
like if you go to a dead stop and try to jump straight up with a bunch of players, it's going to make that cross incredibly difficult. Granted, your hands are higher, but now you're all jumping. And if they're coming through with momentum, then you are going to get leveled. And it comes back to the same thing. But if you come and you time it properly, you should be letting your momentum carry you through past the crowd with that cross, not straight up.
I love one thing that what Lashare DJ on YouTube is saying right now, and he's saying, could the forward motion of a save also prevent an injury? A lot of time we tense up and the injury happens. We didn't allow our follow through to be natural. And I'm kind of almost thinking about like, kind of like when you get in a car accident, your body tenses up, so if you're like kind of like those salmons, kind of jelly, you're less likely to break anything.
Well, if you look at if you go through like a 50-50 through ball, right? So if you hit at the same point that the player's coming in and you're stopping, and the player's running at you, then you're going to get the worst of that. It's probably going to be a difficult 50-50 break, like through ball to hold on to. I'm talking on the ground. A 50-50 through ball to hold on to. They're kicking at the ball. If you come through with your momentum and let your momentum carry you through, that player is going to get upended if they do not jump over you, and it's just going to help you hold on to the ball. So that ball's getting hit into your hand. Your hands are hitting that ball at the same time the player's foot's hitting that ball, and your momentum is carrying you through. All of your momentum, that player's toast, and you'll hold on to the ball.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, one of the things I love, Saskia, what you just said right there in regards to, or maybe it was you, Phallon, that said in regards to shape. I think shape is so vital with this, because if you don't have a good starting shape, it's going to be very difficult to continue the movement, because you're fighting against the natural way your body wants to go.
Yeah. That was one of your rhetorical questions.
I was trying to lead it into something about. Okay, fine. Let me rephrase that here in a certain way.
No, but you're right. But I think the point is you have to use your body and the power of it and the momentum to follow through to your advantage. And if you fight against it, you're creating a very hard situation in multiple different scenarios to control the ball to and everything. So if you use it, it's going to just benefit you.
Yeah. Phallon, I want to ask you this in regards to the shoot, right? The shoot. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to at least a save final action when it comes to momentum, is that your starting shape. Is there a certain starting shape that you feel more comfortable than others when, like, if you get caught, let's say that there's an obstructed shot, you don't have time to react, so your shape is kind of weird. Do you feel less comfortable than like when that ball's coming and you're in a certain shape?
Yeah, I think that's just like the difference between like in that second scenario that you're talking about is, your instincts definitely do kick in as a goalkeeper, especially now. Like I'm 25, I'm pretty old now, so like my instincts carry me sometimes.
Did you just say I'm pretty old? Oh my god.
I can't. Oh my gosh. It's all right.
Phallon, I don't think you understand that, like, right now, because everybody got an extra year in NCAA, the college seniors were like 20, were like 25 this year, like on some
true.
teams.
We
it was
see that
insane.
On our team. Yeah. But in regards to like my set position, I think what I've just found, also what's becoming more and more important in the goalkeeping world is just like your ability to read the game. And I think that plays a huge part in just like your set position and being ready for like a shot or a cross or anything like that sets you up really well, is if you're able to anticipate what's going to happen next. If you're constantly taking in what's happening around you, then it will help you be in the right set shape and help you like get that drive through, because you're gonna know what's happening, And a lot of times we, like, whether or not a younger player is zoning out or like maybe they're a little stressed, like it's really key to like zone in and like think before the action happens. And just like my regular set is just, chest a little bit forward, hands a little higher, but kind of in like that, cowboy saddle position and just being ready for whatever happens.
It's so key what you said is reading the game. You have,
Yeah.
and it's something that now working with USC, I'm trying to get the keepers to read the game quicker, because the goals that are getting scored on is because of the lack of that knowledge of how to get kind of anticipate within the situations that are going on. Read the game. You shouldn't be surprised at anything. You know, there are only certain places the ball can be put because of situations that are going on, but that comes with age. That comes with you being 25.
Yeah.
But that comes with practice, and it comes with seeing a lot of games, and you have to, that speed of mind to read the game at the pace that it's being played at, is so important. It's so important.
But I think also understanding your own body is also really important too, because I think one of the mistakes I made when I was a younger goalkeeper coach is I was trying to get players to be in a shape that I felt was right to perform a successful save, but their bodies didn't move that way. Their bodies were built completely differently than mine. And then I was wondering why I was getting frustrated, why it wasn't working. It's like, well, they're built completely differently. So you have to find what works for you comfortably, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you see some pictures of me at the University of Miami, my set position, my legs are just so wide. Like I'm like almost in a split. Like it's like I don't know what I was thinking or doing. And then finally I had some, did some video sessions of trying to narrow that. But then what ended up happening is like I was going too narrow for my body shape. So then I was going shoulder width, and that's just, for me as a taller goalkeeper, I had to really find like my perfect balance. And I found that really late in life for all these younger goalkeepers, like towards the end of my college career, that's when I started working on like my most comfortable set position. So at any time you could really change these things.
Yeah, and I think what's beneficial now for younger goalkeepers is there are more goalkeeper coaches out there that can help you work on that, because I'm having to adjust that at the college level now. And that double set too wide, everything, no lateral movement, almost in a split position. And I'm like, yeah, you couldn't go anywhere from there. How are you supposed to move? How are you supposed to move to the ball? And but it can be adjusted, absolutely.
Yeah. And by the way, everybody who's giving these questions, phenomenal. These are phenomenal questions, trying to get to as many as them as we can. Some of them I'm just throwing up there on the screen as quickly as possible because they're more points than questions. And they're Daniel Day-Lewis, if that is your real name, because I'm all I can think of is Daniel Day-Lewis.
The actor's one? Awesome.
Yeah. He's researching his next role.
There you go.
He's going to be playing Peter Schmeichel in a movie. No, what if I just made that a rumor and now it's like on BuzzFeed and everything like that, Deadline, all that. All right. Anyway, getting back to this here. I want to pull up some clips from Phallon from this weekend, if you're willing to relive those, if you're down with that. Are you down with that, Phallon?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's relive it. Yeah, let's relive it.
Yeah.
All right, maybe some people don't want to relive it.
I'm kidding. Goalkeeper union.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this up right here. Okay, so I want to start with this first play right here. Let me see if I can find this here. Okay, so this is Phallon. I think let's just walk through, but I think this is in the 3rd minute. I think it's McCaskill kind of plays a slip ball to Tyler Lucy. Shot, boom, what a save. Brilliant right there. Obstructed shot towards post. It looks like you lose it for a split second there. Let's watch it again here and see. Why don't you kind of walk us through what happened here?
Yeah, definitely 3rd minute. This was my first touch of the game also. And it was happening fast too. Like she took that shot real quick. But basically I just knew I just needed to get my hands on it. And just my intention was just to curl it around the post. I wasn't trying to catch that at all. It was coming with some pace.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I like that. I like how you reset yourself. Like some people say, okay, we'll stay higher and stuff. With the pace, it could have made the save more difficult. You took a step back, you reset yourself, but you didn't go too deep into your goal that you probably might not have reached the save. You see what I'm saying? So if you get too deep, and we see a lot of goalkeepers get back on their line in that case too much, and then they can't get to that ball. So I think the positioning was great.
I absolutely love Phallon, that little step to create depth, to allow yourself more time.
Of course,
because when we're talking about momentum, is that what you just said, Saskia?
Yeah, that's what I said. But you said it better.
I just said it in more coach talk.
Yes.
But I was thinking, I was thinking from more of a momentum side, because if she had stayed high right there, she wouldn't have had the time to have the full momentum to go in that body. That step allowed her body to already be slightly in movement. So when the ball was hit, she already had natural movement. Boom, right there. So.
Well, I think you also see a lot of goalkeepers that are trying to reposition themselves there and don't get set.
Mhm.
So they're like, okay, I need to reposition myself, and they get caught in the process of repositioning themselves. But because you got set a split second before with your body weight forward, you had, your full power to extend to the ball.
I want young goalkeepers to see this right here. And Phallon, please feel free to add on to this. But I think right here, your shoulder height, the fact that you recognize where that ball is driving. So many young goalkeepers, they see that ball and they're immediately shoot down or too high. But you just stay in the pocket and just stay in that shape so that you have a nice height for that. And look at that roll through for the injury prevention.
Great save.
Yeah.
Of course, some people would be like, Saskia's going to say, hold the ball, but not in this case.
Look how hard she hits this.
I know. I'm kidding.
Boom.
I'm kidding. It's a great save. And I wouldn't say that in this instance.
Yeah.
Phallon,
I think it's good for.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think just touching upon like everything you guys have said is just definitely finding that zone for these younger goalkeepers, for how they feel most comfortable, like creating that space, because she is outside the 18 and winding up for a shot and getting back to the line, but not being on the line, still forward enough that like that's still like kind of barely going in front of the post. So like being a yard off kind of got that to curl around the post. So
yeah,
just those
if you're too deep, you might not have gotten to it.
Yeah,
it's great positioning.
Yeah,
great save.
You're getting comments in the comment section. Great save.
Great save.
So, when people in the comment section.
But it's also, I'm going to add something. It's also a
Sure.
great save because it's 3 minutes into the game, and it sets a tone for your team that you're dialed in, you're ready to go. Because the game could have gone totally differently had you not been dialed in, ready to go, and this ball goes in the back of the net with 3 minutes into the game. And then your team's kind of on a back heel. Then Angel City's kind of like, let's go, and that's a huge save for those reasons as well.
And I mean, so let's move on to this one right here. But what's so funny about all these saves right here, after we move on to this one right here, is that they kind of showcase the fact is, like, I think one is like kind of a high position, one's kind of a middle position, one's kind of a low position. So we're kind of showing how it kind of works in regards to the shoot with the body. So this next one right here, this one is just a world class in my opinion right here. I think the 6 minute, press is surrounded by 3 players. It's a square ball across to McCaskill, who just dribbles inside and a bullet over the top, bending to the back post. Just back to the bar, footwork and full momentum tip over to guide it prop. That just, wow. Unreal.
But go ahead, Phallon.
Oh no, McCaskill's. That's another thing for younger goalkeeper is just like knowing your opponent, and McCaskill's definitely a player that's just gonna pull it out of nowhere. Like if you're playing against a Marozan, also you have to be on your toes and ready for any shot that's happening. That's just like another thing of being zoned in. And also, I think a lot of times, this is just my 2 cents. Sometimes we take for granted, like we think like, oh, surely that's gonna go over the crossbar. Sometimes it's not. She hit that on a dip. So I was barely getting fingertips on it. So I think for younger goalkeepers, it's really important that maybe it is going wide, maybe it is going over, but just be safe. I think it's always best to err on the side of safety.
I think the other thing is just getting your balance and yourself set. And because with that distance, it can go anywhere. Your distance off the line is perfect and everything, but you get some kids, and when you were moving across, because as she takes the touch across, you're moving across. But again, you get yourself set and balanced so you can come back to the near post to make the touch. If you're not, and if you're still moving and not set when that ball is struck, you're never getting to that ball. So the timing on the set position is incredible. It's excellent.
Yeah. Oscar winner Daniel Lee Lewis wants to say this right here. He says, if you were too deep, then you may have dropped behind the goal line, so your set position was perfect. He's saying right there. Daniel, man, we're going to have you on the show, man. You sounds like you're chomping at the bit to be on the show. Yeah. I want to talk about the guide, because this is something that a lot of young goalkeepers don't do. And I think it's so important, because if you don't guide that ball, it's either going in the net or you're hitting it straight up in front of your goal. And I just think it's just so important that young goalkeepers see that head position. Look at her head position as she guides that ball. She stays with it from the shot, head, all the way through.
But this is a part of what we've been talking about. It's the momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's following through. What you see a lot of young goalkeepers do is they get the hand up too early.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball blows right through their hand. Okay. And I know that it's true, right? So again, using your momentum to get the spring you need. So when you come from this position with your hands, in your cowboy stance, I like that. I'm going to steal that. In your cowboy stance, using your hands, both hands to go up, that brings the energy up through your body. So you're using both hands to get the spring you need, the momentum you need. And now you follow through with the one and guide it over. And that gives you that energy through your body, that momentum and everything to get up, to get it over. You see way too many kids that get there and then they don't have that pop, that energy to get that ball clear.
I love what you're saying right there, Saskia and Phallon. I think that's such an important thing. How many times? Because I know you've done quite a bit of goalkeeping yourself, but goalkeeper coaching, that is. I just said goalkeeping. Yeah, she's done some goalkeeping. You've done some goalkeeper coaching yourself. And how many times have you been working with a young goalkeeper and they get frustrated because they put their arm up and they go, "Oh, I can't tip it over. I can't tip it over." Yeah. And you go, your hand's literally waving at the ball.
Yeah. We definitely saw that a lot when I was on the coaching staff for our youth teams at Stade de Reims in France, where one of our goalkeepers was especially struggling with balls over the top, over her head, because she would, again, put her arm out too early. And then she was just like a little floppy wrist, they think that just getting the contact is enough. But if goalkeeper coaches could work on it, there's a little bit of a special technique of just really using stiff fingertips to getting it over. Because sometimes even you just got to find that really hard spot to get it over. Absolutely.
Boom. Yeah. Yep. I love that. All right, let's finish with this last save right over here. Moving on. It's great that we can pull one game with all these amazing saves. I know that's not how goalkeepers want it to be with their games, but that's
not how your defense. That's not how your defense wants it to be.
That's for sure.
It was a wild 20 minutes.
You're like, hey guys, I showed up. Are you guys going?
Yeah.
So I think this is in the 19th minute right here. I think
you haven't even gotten to the 20th minute. All right, go ahead.
McCaskill's converged on by two players.
Game.
Here's an immediate release. Now Kristen Press, who settles and strikes low to the near post right there. I feel like your player's right there. She's trying to get a coverage right there. It looks like you have some support on that post right over there. So it's not just completely wide open here.
Yeah.
Right there. Yes. So you have coverage supporting you, but then the ball slips underneath. Here's that shoot again that we're talking about. Drive. Beautiful. Yeah. Let's walk through it again here. All right. Boom. Thoughts, Phallon?
Yeah, that's also we talked a little bit on the first save that I made of just the importance of the height at which I was diving at, and then now you can even see that my body's going lower, and it's really finding that line of your most powerful line. So that's where I really drove down low, and I think I ended up saving it with the blunt of my hand, or the wrist of it, of just having a hard spot for it to come off of. But yeah, it was pretty surprising shot, to be honest. Props to Press, because that was a great shot.
I'm just dying to know Angel City's, because I wasn't I'm not on the coaching staff, but they're just peppering you from outside the 18. It's really interesting. I'm there's got to be a point you got to realize it's not going to work.
We'll have to have Dan Ball on.
But no.
Or what's Dee thinking on the other side?
Again, great balance. And it's so important. Any kids watching out there, you got to get set. You have to have your balance proper so you can. And look, you're not setting too wide.
Yeah.
But again,
exactly.
if you do set too wide, it's going to be almost impossible for you to get the power down low to make the save. So the fact that you've retrained that in yourself, so now you can have that lateral movement with power, and this is the outcome.
Yeah, because for a while I was feeling like it's just a feeling of feeling stuck. Like you feel stuck in the ground when your set position is a little off. So I guess if any younger goalkeepers kind of have that sensation, maybe they should look at like their positioning of their legs or just like their set position in general.
Yeah, or if you're setting too early.
Yeah. That too.
And I want to say right here as well too. So right here, I think personally, was this an intentional decision, Phallon, as that ball is hit, to kind of cover that space so that if there was a second ball recovery, that your body shape was there? Or is that just the natural momentum right there?
That was pure reaction. That was pure
Okay.
I just wanted that ball out there. I just wanted it out.
The other thing I love for keepers out there is you're still going with two hands. You're not doing, I call, the little anchor hanging over here and just like automatically going with one hand. Again, we get back to the topic. That's your momentum and your follow through, right? If you're going with two hands, it gives you more power. It gives you more energy through your body. Even though you're saving it with one, the other hand's coming. It helps pull your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I want to bring up this last thing before we kind of move on and on the episode here. But I love right here. So I'm just going to back it up right here. So ball played. Boom, right there. Okay. That low preset. I love that. I love that low preset because you're reading the trigger and you're reacting to the trigger based on how your shape is. And then that's why you're able to make that dynamic save like that, in my opinion, personally. Yeah. You guys
are there more?
I just took. I mean, there's tons of Phallon saves. I just took from that game. No, I think there was a red card later on, and I think the action slowed down a little bit. But let's move out of that. So let's talk a little bit in regards to here. In regards to like the power diving, okay? Because I think a lot of young goalkeepers, they'll see these saves right here and they go, oh, well, I'm just got to go out there and I just got to like throw a ball up there and like, I got to run and jump onto a mat or whatever to learn how to do that. But the footwork is really what puts you into position to get that momentum, right, Phallon?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know sometimes it can be like a pretty big mental block. Even when I was younger, like I started playing goalkeeper when I was 12, and I specifically remember the session when we started like introduce extension diving because I was like, I'm not somebody to be afraid of anything, but I just refused to we were just diving over a flag, like two cones and a flag on top. And like I just like couldn't like the ball would just you would throw it and just like I'll just watch it pass by. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Or I did the typical which is pretty common I've seen in like a lot of younger goalkeepers is like you'll dive over but you'll put that nearest foot, that outside foot down.
You're actually stepping over it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was culprit of that all the time too. And it was leading to that footwork of those prep steps before diving. Those tiny steps are so important. And just releasing your mind and just going for it and trusting that you can get there, because I see it from younger goalkeepers to even goalkeepers in France where like it's a real internal thing, because it's not natural what we're doing, to be honest. Major props to every goalkeeper that's out there extension diving. So
the dogs agree.
Yeah. I do think those small steps are important.
So, Skia, I got a question for you. If the dogs aren't barking right now, is hurdles. What are your feelings on hurdles in regards to at the foundational ages? Should you use hurdles to teach extension diving? Do you feel that there's more chance of injury? Is it beneficial? Can their bodies even really handle going that high and then dropping?
Really, you have to start with the footwork. You have to start with the set into the little macro steps into it. It's not just, hey, jump, dive, it's not, and you get that power and everything through. It's like a dance through that quick step and that go. If you're starting with younger kids, like I wouldn't put a hurdle up, because again, that is in the mind, that is in your mind, as they get the timing down, as they get reading the ball properly, where they should be diving height wise, like we were talking about and everything, you can challenge them. I'm not a big like gadget person. And everything, but there's a time and a place for it. I just think it's the footwork that you have to get down, the proper technique, the proper step, how to load on that power step and everything in order to get there. And that's what has to be taught.
Yeah. I like what Daniel just put up right here in regards to foundational ages,
He's
talking
our
about small
co-host.
steps. He's our co-host today. Daniel, you're our virtual AI going on right now. He's talking about small steps. I get them to start on their knees, then build up to on knee and leading leg to get used to the diving momentum. I think that's a great point. I've tried that in the past myself with either success or sometimes not success, depending on how willing the young goalkeeper is to do that. A lot of times they go, well, this is boring. This isn't real goalkeeping. And I have to try to change their mindset there. Anyway, we're going into my
there are a lot of good ways. There are a lot of ways to do it. I'm never going to be the one to tell you like there's and how to get to the end result that you want to get to. I think that what Daniel, you have to make sure you're doing from that, because that's already starting in a loaded position. So that's already when you're on your knee, then you're starting with a bent knee, getting up and doing the dive. You've got to go in reverse at one point, and you have to teach the kids how to balance themselves, then load and go. So that's the opposite motion as to be preloaded and get up and go. So it has to be taught. Because you get kids that don't understand that, oh, now I have to use this step, load and go. So
speaking of that, load and go, I like lateral movement activities to teach kids to, when they catch the ball, keep moving, as opposed to catch, stop. Just something as simple as just lateral movement, touch a cone, move across, catch the ball as it's going, and then just keep going through that motion. For me, I find that beneficial. And Phallon, I don't know if you've ever done that with younger goalkeepers.
Oh yeah, I've done that a ton of times. And even when we had these goalkeepers that were having mental blocks, it was easier to have them in that loaded position where it was like one knee up and then maybe over a hurdle, because just that distance, that almost like a vertigo type of deal where they were just really couldn't visualize it. It was just easier to cut out all those other steps and just bring it back to that single basic thing. So that's how we did it with those. But I think it's also interesting because the way I was brought up as a goalkeeper is I was flying over flags, I was flying over trash cans, you know what I mean? And then bring it back. Yeah, I had a Costa Rican goalkeeper coach. So thankful for him, because now
I was flying over people.
But then yeah, same. But then bring it back to college, and then I had to learn how to balance myself and the importance of my set position. So I kind of did things in reverse. I got there, but still working on it. But so I definitely would suggest for younger coaches to focus on those basics first. Then
I'll tell you a funny story really quick. So I'm getting to, I think it was my final season playing pro. I was at New York, and I had this young 20-something goalkeeper, 24, 25, no offense, goalkeeper. And
no, you're really old. What are you talking about?
I was in my 30s. So we're at the end of practice, and our goalkeeper coach is like, okay, you want to do some extra training, and she's trying to prove that she's like, all right, let's do power diving, extension diving to the upper 90. And I was like, peace. I was like, I'm going in the training room to ice down. I was like, I don't have to, I'm not doing that anymore. I was like, if you want me to play on Saturday, it's not happening. So I know how to do it. I use my footwork to save my body.
I
did the same thing. I used to have to do for Tony and them at summer camps to demo for the kids, and they'd have 3 kids on their knees in a crouch position, and they'd be you'd start over there, they'd be like, Sas, go, and you're just oh Jesus,
when's that gonna happen?
You're doing that photo parallel dive. Do you know what I mean? The one you see on Dan Gaspar's cover of his camps. Love you, Dan. But it's just this photo, and I'm just oh my gosh, tell me when this happens.
There's nothing like those Soccer Plus pressure trainings.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see here. So Phallon's 25. So no. I guess you wouldn't have. Saskia probably trained me at Soccer Plus. I was probably that kid that that couldn't stand.
Yeah, I don't think Phallon was old enough to be at Soccer Plus when I was coaching there. No, I don't think she was born, actually.
Yeah.
So, actually, she wasn't.
Yeah.
So she was just being born. I gotta go now.
Oh, Phallon, I want to ask you about body in regards to like body weight, right? Because I think one of the biggest issues that I think that a lot of younger goalkeepers have, and older goalkeepers too, is because they're leaning too much one way or the other. Their body, they can't put their whole body weight into that. Okay, everyone's seeing that. I probably shouldn't do that. That's not. But you guys get what I'm trying to do. That momentum of like readjust and attack like that. Is everyone seeing me doing that on the screen? Okay.
Yeah, I totally understand that, and that's something that's super important. That's all the time we're talking about balancing your set position, and that's just being equal balanced on each of your legs. Because sometimes I even had that tendency of just being right leg loaded, or if like you can sometimes see like younger goalkeepers and college age goalkeepers too, even the professional world, where sometimes you're anticipating and then you get caught on. That's where I see it the most, is like sometimes, and it's the slightest, it could be the slightest amount of weight on your left leg, and then it gets pulled back right, and you're just lost, you know what I mean? And you're just a second late. So it's just being honed in. And I think that's what's created in training sessions, so that when it's come game time, that's instinct, you know, then it's just natural for you.
And you could see that in those saves. You could see that even though the ball's moving, like cutting back to the top of the 18, your movement comes across, and it's a slight micro movement, but you're immediately balanced equally. So when the one cut back, the press one cut back through the legs, you're ready to cut back. When the high one that you had to tip, you're coming across, you set equally balanced, so that you can come back to near post. And I agree with you. You see so many goalkeepers that they're still moving to get into what they think is their position. And Tony used to always say it's better to be set and out of position than it is to be moving. So you can actually make up and go back the other direction. But it's so important, because it is the slightest lean, the slightest misstep the wrong way, you can't readjust.
Yeah. You know, and I think also the locking of the body too, because I think a lot of young goalkeepers, they lock when they step, they lock. And because they lock, they get planted. And now you can't. Now you're going against your body weight to try to move.
Well, that's what you said when you're in cement. Like, you're just like,
yeah.
By
the way, Phallon, there's a question right here from somebody on YouTube, and I just want to throw this up there. It's from Joe Antonio, and I figured it'd be fun. Why don't we throw this up there? What age did you know you wanted to be a keeper?
So I didn't become a goalkeeper till I was 12, but I was always one of those girls that was just like thrown in, like, you know, like has the giant oversized shirt, no gloves on, but just standing in goal, you know, like that was the field players that get rotated. And it wasn't until I was 12 that I had joined a team. And actually the goalkeeper that joined the team was supposed to be the full-time goalkeeper, but she didn't want to be a full-time goalkeeper. She wanted to be half and half. Those were the days where you sometimes did half and half goalkeeper, half field player. And then I was just playing basketball at the time. You know, I was point guard, and like we would always play those games where it's just like, oh, whoever, you know, it's like a shooting game, and it's just like if you stay in, you keep making the saves, and you stay in the goal the whole time. And so like I just never came out of the goal when we did those shooting games. So they were just like, all right, we'll just throw her in. And then as soon as I did my first goalkeeper training, of course I got hooked on diving over flags and trash cans. And like one time he tied a sock around my head and told me to sense the ball. Like I was like,
Are you in the Karate Kid? What was going on there?
I was like, this is just the right amount of crazy for me. You know? So, like, I was like, this is the spot to be at. Like,
I'm gonna go to USC on Thursday with blindfolds.
Yeah. I think. You know, I was like 14 too, and I think he was messing with me. I still don't know to this day. I should ask him, because he would just like chuck it at my stomach and was like,
That's a good one. That's a new one. I can say that's never happened.
Yeah.
I love that you keep saying, you know, those were the days. Way back in the days.
Yeah.
She's like back in 2016.
Yeah.
I just love what you said, Phallon, in regard to like the oversized goalkeeper jersey. Cause like I remember when I was a youth coach and I'd show up at the field and there'd be like the girl with the long goalkeeper jersey.
You can't see the shorts.
clearly not hers. Clearly not hers, and the floppy gloves that are clearly somebody else's too. And they're like, "Hey, why don't you work with her, warm her up?" And I'm like, "She's not a goalkeeper." She's like, "No, but she's playing for us this weekend." I was like, "Oh God, this is not what we." Saskia's always comment. I know.
My visions go back to Mia Hamm in '95 World Cup.
Oh my God.
In Bry's jerseys with her gloves. I'm like, first of all, why are you putting gloves on? I love you. I was like, they're too big for you. Why are you putting gloves on? Like, just catch the ball. And then Bry's jersey. I never knew Mia was that short because I'm like, Bry and I were 5'9", and I was like, why is that jersey so big? But you see those photos of her when she had to go into the game, and I'm just like, we won't even talk about how I actually really felt because we were out of subs and I couldn't go in. So so that was fun. But oh well. But yeah, I just think that's what I think. That oversized jersey was awesome. She made some saves though. She made some saves in that game.
This is a little bit off the topic right here, but this came through, and I think it's actually be kind of fun to bring this up with both you guys right here. This is from Andre Dardeman in Germany, and he goes, "I wrote my bachelor thesis." First off, thank you for making your bachelor thesis about goalkeepers. That's amazing. Can I go back to school and just learn about goalkeeping and get a degree for that? I wrote my bachelor thesis about goalkeepers and different mental distractions and their psychology. So what do you think is the hardest about being a goalkeeper and the toughest mental part in the game?
Absolutely. You want to?
I know. whoever wants to go there. Thank you, Andre.
I think there's so many it's a big question. I think one of the hardest things, especially with younger goalkeepers, is getting over mistakes, is in the flow of a game after you get scored on, whether it's a legit goal or whether upper 90 or just a nice goal, or whether you've made a mistake. How do you move forward from that? So don't follow one mistake by another, get out of your head, shake it off and move forward. You have the rest of the game to play. And that's like one of the biggest hurdles for goalkeepers, especially young goalkeepers, to get over. And, you get these young kids and the score of these games are like, first of all, they're too small to be playing in a big goal. And the score of the game is like 8-9, and like, how do you just keep your mental state? How do you keep that kid focused? Not get into their head, not get depressed, not kind of give up. And so I think that's one of the hardest things to train. And it's really understanding that there are 10 other people in front of you that are making mistakes in the ball to get to you. And even if it is your mistake, just brush it off and make a great save on your next, your next chance.
Phallon, any others?
Definitely. I think that's a massive thing for goalkeepers. And then also at all different levels, maybe at the college level or professional level, it's just like that, finding that balance of, honestly, they always call goalkeepers crazy, but you just always want to be the best version of yourself as a goalkeeper. So you're constantly wanting to be better, want to do better, to the point where like, you're just, you're driving yourself crazy, emotionally exhausted, mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. And then your performance starts going down. So it's really finding that balance of trusting that like you are growing slowly but surely, and just like, it's so cheesy to say sometimes too, but loving the process and just like enjoying who you are in that moment, and just not forgetting that's who you are as a goalkeeper. And then especially like, that's what those trainings are for. You're building yourself up, even though you can't see it. Those trainings are building you up. And then once it's game time, that's you. Don't focus on anything else. Let everything roll out. And I think that was one of the things that I had to learn for myself too, is just like trusting that growth is happening in the background.
Yeah, have fun. Like, I love saying to my keepers sometimes, like, they'll make a save and I'm like, that felt good. Like, it looked good, like, but it felt good. It was a solid, solid catch or solid whatever. But like, you have to. It's not a negative position. Take the positive out of it as well. Although the score's on the board if we get scored on, but look at you getting player of the match. For all the saves and everything like that.
I was just, when you said player of the match, I was just thinking of myself. I thought you were talking about me because my season starts up again on Thursday. Okay, I was player of the match. Last game I played, I was player of the match. Anyway, no big deal, guys.
Sorry, I missed it. Was it on ESPN?
It was not on ESPN.
Paramount Plus?
It was on Paramount X. It was on Paramount Minus. Definitely. No, I do want to bring this up though in regards to the mental. I think for me personally, like I remember like after the pandemic, started just slowing down and everything, we went back out there and I played my first 11s match. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so long. I've been out here forever. How long is a half? Because I'd forgotten how long you're out there. And I think that mental drain of being out there, especially if you're not getting consistent action, and for young kids to stay switched on. Daniel, thank you for putting that in the comments as well too. I think is another one that's just massive on the mental side. So,
yeah.
Just throwing my sense of it.
Yeah. I think having fun is so important too. And sometimes sometimes as goalkeepers, we just get so wrapped up in the sport too that we just forget like other things exist. Like I love drawing, I love going for walks, I love learning about different ocean animals. So for any goalkeeper, it's just like when it starts getting real crazy in the net, like maybe look outwards and like try spending your time with like some hobbies and things like that like bring you joy again.
Yeah,
Phallon, I want to go up there. I want to see the salmon release. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this sounds like fun.
It's cool. It is fun. It is really fun.
Yeah. Siska, what were you about to say as we start?
I was saying, when I was when we were training in Florida, when we were like Tony was always really hammering in, do something else. Like we have 2 days off, do something else. And for me, I would go surfing. Like, okay, so look. Let's discuss the surfing for a second. I tried to surf, okay? But I was trying. Maybe I was a little arrogant and bought a short board when I shouldn't have. But it was my weekend and it was my getaway, and I went with friends that had nothing to do with soccer, and I went and I was at the beach, and it was just my thing, and it was a different hobby and something I could focus on and just release, and it is really important because it's an intense position. It's intense, and you're automatically a captain. You're organizing, you're communicating, you're dealing with, your own struggles and as well as the teams. And so you need that release.
Yeah,
definitely.
And as we're wrapping up right here, guys, first off, shout out to all you guys who've been watching right here. All these really good questions. I apologize. We haven't been able to get to all the questions, but we do have a place where you can get all your questions answered by not just us, but everyone in the goalkeeping community, guys. That's right. The Union Goalkeeper Community. It's a free app on all platforms, available in Google stores, Apple stores, all that. And we just launched this publicly today. So I just want to share this little ad really quickly right here so you guys can all check it out.
Unionsports.com, you guys.
Unionsports.com. And here we go. And that is it right there, guys.
Such a grown-up. I'm so proud of that.
I know, we've been working on it really hard for the last couple of years.
Of course, now we have to put all Phallon saves in there.
I know. Well, Phallon's got to join. Fallon's got to join the union now. Get her a little check mark and get her on there engaging, guys. It's growing strong. We've got getting close to 1,200 people already have joined, and we haven't even launched publicly yet, guys. So get on the bandwagon, guys. Like I said, it's completely free. That's the best place to reach us now. We're at Saskia, at Michael Magid, at Goalkeeper Podcast on the Union, and also traditional social media platforms. You can still do that.
And Omar.
Oh, and Omar. Well, he's not here right now. Do we need to plug him? At Pro GK Academy. He's on there as well too. No, I know. Shout out to Pro GK Academy, guys, our partner here over on these broadcasts. I know a lot of you guys are watching us on the Pro GK channels. Phallon, since you haven't started your Union channel yet, where is the best place for people to connect with you right now?
Yeah, I will get on that. But right now it's mostly Instagram, just at Phallon, just my first name too. Yeah, that's what I'm on the most.
Love it, guys. And guest suggestions, topic suggestions, contact at insidethe18media.com. That's the number 18. Or again, at Goalkeeper Podcast on the Union or other social medias. That's all the time on Inside the 18, guys. And we are out. Later, guys.